به نام خداوند جان و خرد. در این قسمت از ولاگ هایم از ساسکاتون کانادا همراه با همکار سابق و دوستم دیلون به سفر کوتاهی بیرون از شهر میریم. او سابقه کار به عنوان مشاور کاریابی جوانان در یکی از نهادهای معتبر کانادایی را دارد. در قدیمی ترین و معتبرترین لیسه ساسکاتون زبان انگلیسی را برای مهاجرین تدریس کرده و همچنان دانش گسترده درباره فرهنگ بومی و ارتباط عمیق آن با طبیعت دارد و همچنان اهل هنر و موسیقی و مطالعه است. ما در قسمت نخست ای ولاگ درباره چگونگی یافتن کار به عنوان تازه‌وارد، نائل آمدن به چالش‌های یادگیری زبان انگلیسی و نیز آموزه‌های فرهنگ مردمان بومی در پیوند به طبیعت و احترام به آن گفتگو خواهیم کرد. زمانی که گرم قصه با دیلون بودم متوجه شدم که یک چیز بسیار مهم را فراموش کردیم و باید برمیگشتیم طرف خانه.
Yes, I did.
Do you want me to go back?
Yeah. Sorry for this.
No.
و برگشتیم طرف خانه.
I had a mystery box to be opened during our conversation. That's very important.
That's exciting. A mystery box.
So we won't miss it, right?
Okay, no problem. Pull into the.
Okay.
Just gonna
Sure.
don't get my parallel parking on camera. It makes me nervous.
No, I have already seen your parallel parking.
Yes. Oh yeah, Bedford. That's right. Okay.
And the nervousness is common.
It is. It's a really hard to. I have friends who refuse. They're 30 years old and they've never parallel parked in their life because they're just like, I'm not gonna try. So, I'm already ahead of the game.
Okay.
این بکس ها فراموش شده بود، باید بگیرم و دوباره برم. خراکم ما رفتم همون در بکس ها را گرفتم و در موبایل کج شده فیلم برداری کردم.
So, do you have any idea what these
$1 million.
might be?
$1 million. Looks like what we have on Canadian game shows. And they open the case and there's money. No.
Yeah.
I don't know. No idea. Knowing you, maybe something from
Yeah.
China.
So let's see.
Let's see. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I anticipate seeing what.
Actually.
ما همدیگر در سازمان ایسایی که وظیفه اولی ما در کانادا بود ملاقات کردیم و خیلی زود مسائل زیاد مشترک را یافتیم که گاهی در وقفه های کاری و دیدارهای شخصی ما بر زمانهای خیلی طولانی رویش بحث می کردیم و عمیق می شدیم.
This circle drive is, a big feature of Saskatoon. It's
Yes.
a beautiful long road, but it's I rarely take it because I don't like taking it, so I'm not.
Why is that?
It's not very scenic, It's not very nice looking. I like to take the river if I can, but it is. Yeah,
okay,
it is a bit hard.
okay,
And it's
okay.
confusing because everything looks the same.
Yeah.
But I know where I'm going. So.
Okay.
Yeah, not a very beautiful part of Saskatoon here.
Mm-hmm.
قرار بری شد که ما یک سفر بیرون از ساسکاتون با دیلون داشته باشیم تا ما دیدگاه‌هایی را که از او در مدت کار در دفتر مشترک شنیده بودم با شما هم شریک بسازم.
Oh no. I hope there was nothing fragile in there.
Really precious, fragile things.
Yeah? Fine china?
I think we should talk about these later.
Okay.
And we should take the backpack.
Okay.
Do you think?
Sounds good. Yeah, I think so.
Because-
Just so you're not
Yes.
carrying them in.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we can open them like anywhere, even like the place where we're going for the walk near Broadway. Like my apartment is nearby, so
Okay.
whatever. Obstacles, be careful walking along the shore, use caution near sandbars. Don't walk on ice.
So you already know how to keep safe?
I do. I've swam in the river many times. Let's see. Trail here. Okay, it looks like if we go straight, and there's some washrooms too on the way if you need, but it might be a little bit of a walk. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I don't know if I think I should give some, announce in Persian for my audience.
Yeah.
خب دوستای عزیز، من همراه دیلون هستم، دوست و همکار بسیار خوبم و تولید محتوا در یوتیوب و چینل یوتیوبم را با همین ویدیو، با همین سفر و با همین گفتگو آغاز میکنیم. دیلون همکار ما بود در ساسکاتون اینترکالچرال اسوسییشن یا ایسای. ما در اونجا با هم دیگه آشنا شدیم، در یک تیم کار میکردیم. در ساسکاتون تولد شده، در همینجا بزرگ شده و چیزهای زیاد میدانه در مورد تاریخ ساسکاتون، در مورد زندگی ساسکاتون. به این دلیل خواستیم آغاز کنیم با دیلون. So Dylan, I had an introduction about the things that I know about you. So would you love to say a few things?
Oh, sure. Anything in particular that the people want to know?
Actually, I mean, if you introduce yourself by your own words to my audience
Sure.
who do not know you.
They don't know me, right?
Yeah.
I should have prepared something in advance. Well, hello, my name is Dylan. I was born here in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. I've lived here for most of my life, and I really do love it here. And I had the privilege of meeting Mirwise at Saskatchewan Intercultural Association. I'm a youth employment counselor with the Newcomer and Indigenous Employment Services. So I'm enjoying my role there. I've also been a teacher, a restaurant server, so I've, had many different roles in my short life. I really love music and art and reading. And yeah, I'm very happy to just be out here on the land today. One of my favorite things to do is to be outside, so I'm grateful to have the opportunity to show you some of the beautiful sights of Saskatoon.
So thank you, Dylan, for giving us this time and starting our YouTube channel, starting our show by showing us around in Saskatoon.
Yes, I'm so happy. I'm honored. I'm honored to have the privilege to get to do this. So it's a great privilege for me.
ما امروز بر علاوه از اینکه یک دیدار و بازدید از شهر ساسکاتون کانادا، جایی که من زندگی میکنم، اینجا اکادمی ثروت را راجستر کردیم، آغاز کردیم و اینجا خانه ما شده. میبینیم با دیلون صحبت‌های دیگری هم خواب داشتیم. And Dylan is also thinking about
starting content creation. She is, you know, with lots of great gifts that I think need to be reflected and need to be, you know, conveyed for the people, the conversation that we used to have every day.
Yes, that was one of my favorite things about work, was just getting to have those conversations with you, and you really built my confidence and my belief that I, you know, could do something like that and speak on the things that I'm passionate about. So
Did I?
Oh, absolutely. You really did. No, really.
I mean,
like, you know, that was kind of the push that I needed, because I had all these ideas just in my head, but I never had the will or the spark to actually think about pursuing them. So that was a great gift to me.
Actually, Dylan, what you did for me, you know, during my last very stressful weeks at work, you know, being with me, calming me down, helping me, giving me support, you know, de-escalating my very, you know, turbulent moments. So I really appreciate it.
So I'm here. I love de-escalating, right? It's one of my skills.
And you are amazing with that, Dylan.
Oh, thank you.
I can say that with, you know, 100% confidence.
Oh, that's so kind. Thank
Wow, this is amazing. Why it's called South Saskatchewan River?
So there's a North Saskatchewan River as well.
Okay.
Northern in the province, but the word Saskatchewan is kind of, they messed up a Cree word that means swift flowing river. So Saskatchewan is kind of an anglicized Cree word that means swift flowing river.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah, I can't even say the Cree word for it. I would butcher it. But it has its roots in a Cree, so an indigenous origin.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And
so, this is a conservative area.
Yes.
What does it mean? I mean,
it means it's protected. So it means that they're not gonna develop it for residential purposes.
Okay.
It's protected, it's safe, it will remain as a natural site in a park, and it will be maintained. It's not gonna be cleared out for any kind of development or anything like that. Yeah. So it's protected land.
Okay.
Yeah. The wildlife is protected as well. So I could be wrong, but I think it means that you can't hunt either. So you're not allowed. I think, I could be wrong again, but I think being a conservation site means you can't come out here and hunt the animals. And we might see more when we walk, but there's some prairie roses which have fruit on them, which you can eat. I don't see anyone's fruiting now, but you can tell that this plant here, because it has the thorns, is a prairie rose. But we'll see see if we come across anything interesting on our walk.
Okay, sure. So, I mean, we were planning my wife Serbia also join us, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for filming, but her colleague got a problem.
Oh no.
And she was not able to
Oh,
not to go to work today.
that's a
So,
shame. Well, next time.
Yeah, and that's why I took this selfie stick to film by myself.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yes, the toy Lego.
Yes, I'm
For building.
familiar. Yeah.
So we call it Lego plant because you can take it apart
Oh,
and you can kind of put it
back.
back together a little bit. This one's not complying as much, but Lego plant.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. It usually grows near water.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can see, these are the fruit of these are called rose hips. So they grow from the prairie rose.
Okay.
They taste like apples because they're actually from the same family. But they have seeds inside. This one's a little old, so I might not be able to open it. But it's a superfood in that 3 of these have the same amount of vitamin C as an orange, like a whole navel orange. So, yeah.
In this much?
Yeah, 3 of those, same amount of vitamin C as an orange.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but you have to make sure to not eat the seeds.
So okay.
You can only eat the fruit on the outside.
Okay.
If you take that and rub it between your fingers and smell it, it's very...
I can smell it.
Yeah, it's a very, I guess in Canada it'd be like kind of like a Christmassy kind of smell. And this is actually what they make gin out of.
Oh!
Yes.
I thought white's family.
That's alcohol here, but it's definitely a big part of the culture.
Oh, yes.
All right, we're descending.
Okay, should we this kind of filming with this? Yeah, you can go ahead.
I'm going? Okay. I'm leading us down.
Wow.
Yeah, you do have to be careful not to go into the tall grass. Oh, I'll show you this too.
Okay, what is it?
This is called horsetail, but we call it Lego plant.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with the toy Lego.
Yes, I'm
for building.
familiar. Yeah.
So we call it Lego plant because you can take it apart.
Oh.
And you can kind of put it
back.
Back together a little bit. This one's
okay.
not complying as much, but. Okay, well, I'll blanket set out here then.
Yeah.
Out of the way for anybody who happens to come by.
Yeah.
I have granola bars if you need. Where do you think we should go? Right here? It'll be a little bumpy, but that's okay.
Yeah, just you tell us where. I don't know. I'm a newcomer.
Okay, you go right here then. That's good.
So I'm gonna talk about your YouTube channel that we have been talking about.
Yeah, well, for me, all my life, I've always been really interested in studying things like psychology, personal growth, spirituality. I think these are things that people are desiring to connect with as people are wanting to learn more about themselves, right? And how they can develop and grow and transform in the way that's most beneficial for them and for their highest good and for the highest good of humanity. And I've really enjoyed learning about these things, and I've had the opportunity to teach others just through casual conversation as we've taught each other. But I think it would be really neat to have a platform to talk about it more intentionally and more specifically.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, Dylan, when we first met, it was your first day of work, and we were at the Vanescamin, right? And I saw you, the first gallons, and you had this beautiful smile, and you brought lots of positive energy to the team. And then we connected really fast and quickly.
We did.
And I learned a lot from you. And with this young age, all of that thoughtful, views, that maturity, this passion, walk us a little bit through, how it happened, how it comes.
Oh, that's a really great question. I appreciate the praise. Thank you. And I do think we connected really quickly because we have some interest in some similar topics, and we like getting in depth about things. For me, it's just ever since I was a kid, I was pretty solitary. Like, I had friends, but I really like spending time alone and in nature. And I went through some really challenging things in my childhood where I think I had to lean on understanding what was happening and kind of lean on spirituality as a means to find, comfort and assurance. And, I couldn't make sense of necessarily the things I was going through or the things that were happening around me, and getting to learn about different, spiritual paths and belief systems help offer me some understanding and some comfort in some really tough times. And I've always had the desire to help people. I've always been into human service. I really value having authentic connections with people and helping people and helping people reach their full potential. That's why I went into teaching initially. And I feel like these kind of topics are really helpful for everyone to understand themselves and help to reach their full potential. And I think we're seeing a real desire in society for people to connect with each other and with themselves more deeply. So I'm very, very grateful and humbled that I have the opportunity to do that. But yeah, really, I'm a learner. I love learning. I seek the truth. And so I've had the opportunity to learn about kind of different types of truth throughout my life, just through my own self-motivated learning, and also getting to interact with so many different people. Like, for example, you and having that connection with someone from Afghanistan. And as a teacher, I taught so many newcomer students. I taught Indigenous students, and I got to understand all these different life experiences, all these different belief systems and all these cultures, and I really got to see the beauty in them. So I was very fortunate and very blessed in having the chance to connect with so many different people, and that's really helped me to inform what I believe in and what I want to do as well.
That's really precious, Dylan. I mean, the things that you always talk about and the things that you value in your life, it was really amazing for me. We will talk about your experience at Nutana and working with the newcomer students. So did you have the chance to work with the Afghan newcomer students? And if you had, so what do you think would be the most challenging thing for the young people like your students that you work with them from Afghanistan, coming from a country with, a turbulent past and incidents?
That's a really good question. Well, I'll think about it. We'll let these people pass by,
Sure.
and I'll give my response. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, the most challenging thing. Okay, that's a good question. When I was teaching at Nutana, I was kind of on my way out when we got a lot of the Afghan students there. So I didn't have a lot of opportunity to really get to know them. But I did a little bit because I substituted in a few classes specifically with the Afghan girls. And of course, some of the challenges that I perceived, right? Like, I'm a person who's lived in Canada my whole life, so I can't begin to comprehend the impact of coming from a country with such turbulence and having to migrate to a new country. I can't even imagine how challenging that would be. And I think just having the experience of maybe perceiving, violence or oppression or that kind of unrest, and, even if you bring it into a country where you're maybe a little bit more physically safe, you still carry that with you, right? That's not gonna magically just dissipate. And then you also have the challenge of being in a culture that is unfamiliar, right? So you might be carrying this pain and this experience and this fear, but you're also in a culture maybe where it's hard to feel at home or find home. So that's another challenge as well. And I definitely saw the community being created within the Afghan girls, right? They stuck together, and it's really great. And even in hearing your experience with the Afghan community in Saskatoon and the events that are put on and the camaraderie, I think it's really beautiful that those spaces are being created by the people. And I think that shows a lot of strength and a lot of resilience and a lot of heart. So I really admire that. But of course, just adjusting to a new culture is a huge change, as I'm sure you've experienced. So just learning what are the norms, what are the expectations. The education system here is very, very different. And I had heard that from newcomer students, even students who weren't Afghan, just how different the expectations are in the classroom and the differences in the schools. So that would probably be very challenging to adapt to as well. But despite the challenges, you know, there's still smiles, there's still laughter, there's still connection. And I really think that's a testament to the strength of the people and the strength of the human spirit.
That's amazing. Thank you, Dylan. And you still work with the indigenous community, and your role is really crucial, and your formal job in working as an youth employment counselor for the indigenous community and the newcomers. So I'm really interested, you know, about the knowledge and your experience and how indigenous community and the newcomers are, you know, facing to adjust with the things really going on. Do you think it would be part of the content that we will be watching from you? I mean, guiding people through this transitioning period of their lives?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, connection to the indigenous community is so important for me because I grew up on this land, right? I'm a settler, so my great grandparents came here from Europe, and of course this land was all originally, you know, occupied by people for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So I've always tried to embody an attitude of just respect and reverence for that. And I think there's so much that I have learned and that I still have to learn, and that I've always enjoyed learning, because really the people who know best how to take care of this land are the indigenous people, because they have such a strong connection and they've been here forever. So I think it benefits all of us as people. It benefits the environment for us to learn from their knowledge systems. So I think that's important for newcomers as well, right? To develop that connection and that understanding and that reverence for the indigenous people and their experiences here and the knowledge that they have. There's definitely some overlapping factors in, like, being a minority and, you know, having your rights taken away and being oppressed. So even though these are two very different stories from different landscapes, I do think there's connection that can be built there. And ultimately, I think just telling stories and listening to one another from an authentic place is the most important thing, because I think what has caused so much divide between people here in Saskatchewan is just the fear to listen to one another and hear each other out and understand the stories and the history. I think the more that we can do that, because we're all people, right? So if we can just connect to one another's hearts and listen to each other, I think that's how we, you know, learn to live in harmony as separate but united people.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember one of really thought-provoking things that you mentioned about indigenous perspective towards the nature, towards the trees, towards the plants. You mentioned that in indigenous culture, they do not see trees or plants as things, as materials. They see it as a person.
Yeah.
They call it as
a family member.
A family member, and it makes lots of differences when you see a tree or a plant like a thing to be consumed as you prefer, and then your relative, your family member. It is a lot of difference. So you know, even that one thing that you mentioned, it provoked lots of thoughts, for me. And I know the importance of the things that you believe, the things that you always talk about and you're passionate about. That's what I'm expecting from your YouTube channel or whatever means that you come online someday.
I hope so. I appreciate that. Yeah, and even though I'm not Indigenous and I'm speaking on these things through the lens as like a white settler here, of course, like growing up in Saskatchewan, we do have a high Indigenous demographic, which I'm grateful for because I had the opportunity to grow up and be friends and work with and learn alongside Indigenous people. And those beliefs and those teachings are things that I carry with me and I think about. And in the like looking at nature as something with a spirit that is a relative, it's all founded on this principle of like reciprocity, of both giving and taking, because in a lot of European cultures, or at least the European culture I came from, it's like you see a tree and you see an opportunity to cut it down, make wood, and build something, right? You're seeing it as an object, as a means to an end. But if you kind of embody an Indigenous perspective and you see that tree as a father or a relative, our fathers do give to us, but we're also expected to give something back, right? You wouldn't just go to a relative and say, give me this. It's okay, what can I offer to you as well? So there's that relationship of reciprocity, and ultimately that's what's going to conserve our land, right? Because we are in an environmental crisis, because people are taking advantage of the earth, and I think we could all benefit from, viewing nature as not something that we take from, but something we try to honor and give to as well.
Really amazing. Thanks, Dylan.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, I'm grateful to have the platform. Again, I'm not an expert. I don't know everything. If you want to learn more about this, go seek Indigenous creators. There's many of them. There's even more of them coming to light. So I really encourage it, because the cultures, and there are many Indigenous cultures, right? It's not like a one.
Yes.
There's so many different nations who offer so many different things and different practices. So it's a really rich thing to dive into. So I encourage everyone to do that.
Thanks, Dylan.
I'll show the real of it, the good, the bad, the ugly, which is going to be us climbing back up the cliff. Good thing I went for a run yesterday. I'm nice and sore. My muscles are sore.
I wished we had something like this close to home.
Yes.
And this was a really good exercise.
Yes. I know, I'm putting you to work. I'm putting you to work. So you want to make a vlog? We're training.
Oh my goodness.
You want to get in shape? All right.
I wish we can surprise Erica. This is one of the things that I want to, film and document your friendship with Erica.
Yes.
And Erica's personality. She's great.
So kind. So generous. So funny.
So funny.
Very grateful to have had her as a friend for most of my life. And everyone, still to this day, people ask, are you related? Are you sisters?
That's what I asked you.
Yes.
For the first time. So when is the best time for hunting?
That's a good question. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to make sure I still have my keys.
Okay.
Best time for hunting, it depends what you're hunting, really.
Okay.
Some people hunt in the winter.
Like lions and tigers?
No, mostly deer, moose, elk, We have wild boar here, which are actually an invasive species. So they were a species that was introduced, and now they're causing a big problem in Saskatchewan because they don't have many natural predators, and they're very good at surviving. So they breed.
Multiplying.
Yes. So they breed a lot. So a lot of farmers will actually pay people to come onto their land and to hunt the wild boar. So that can happen in winter, but most of the time I think people hunt when the animals are active. So that would usually be spring and summer, because a lot of animals will be in hibernation in the winter.
There's lots of things in every language that doesn't make sense at all, but they're there.
Yeah, I feel like English in particular, because it has so many different languages influencing it, right? So Germanic languages, French, Latin, all helped to create the modern day English language. And the reason it can be so challenging to learn is most of our grammar rules are based in Latin grammar rules, but our actual words and our language are Germanic. So it's kind of a mishmash of different languages. So some of the rules don't make sense because they're coming from different origins, and you know, it's not like one language that just developed and evolved. It had so much influence from other cultures and other languages.
And once you mentioned that we have many words in English that logically, when you see it, it shouldn't be pronounced that it's common.
Yes.
So why it is?
Oh, that's another really great question.
I have really great questions, right?
Yes, you do. So one of the reasons actually is, so in England, obviously where the English language originated, they didn't have a unified way to spell everything. So in different villages all across the country, the townspeople, the village people were all spelling things in a different way, just because there was no common law or rule. But then at some point, I think it was a king or maybe a political leader said, okay, we have to unify the language. We have to decide how we're gonna spell everything the same. And they just kind of did it without any logical reason. They just said, okay, this is how this is going to be spelled because I said so. So I think that's one of the reasons, is they kind of just decided this is how we're going to spell things. Yeah, maybe it doesn't make much sense sometimes, but I think also having the connections to other languages throughout history means there's not a consistency in how things are pronounced or spelled.
Exactly. So yeah, and this is one of the struggles that the newcomers,
of course,
are dealing with.
Of course.
When you are new to a language like English and you have many questions about how to pronounce this word, how to write it, how to spell it, and then you are getting surprised.
I'm surprised. I was an English teacher, right?
Yeah.
So I taught a lot of newcomer students who would ask me, well, why is it this way? Why is it this rule? And I would say, I don't know. I don't know. And like growing up as an English speaker, you don't think about it too much. You just take it for granted, and it becomes very intuitive. But as an English teacher, when I actually sat down and listened to these questions from these kids, and they're like, well, why is that the rule? I'm like, that's a good question. It really shouldn't be a rule, should it? But it's too late to change it now, so.
Yes, it's too late, right?
It's too, well, language is always evolving and changing, right?
Yeah.
And even with having the internet and having people communicate through text and through computers, language has changed a lot, which I think is a good thing. It's a necessary thing, and it's a beautiful thing.
And the most influential group on shifting and changing the language are the girls, yeah? The young girls.
I would say the young girls, definitely the youth in general, but certainly Certainly young girls, right? They're very active usually with technology, and we find more efficient ways to, you know, communicate things. And there's slang now that I don't understand, you know. Not too many years ago was the youth, and now that I'm a little bit older, I'm like, what are all these words you're using?
Oh my God, it's changing that fast?
It changes so fast. Yes, it changes very fast. I hear kids using words and I'm like, what does that mean? What does that mean? So it's beautiful though, because it shows how creative the youth are, right? They're reconstructing the language, and I think it's important. I don't think language should stay the same. Yeah, it shouldn't be static, because our world is changing, right?
Yeah, it's one of the signs of, what do we call it? Evolution?
Yeah, for sure.
That we are changing and creating constantly.
Exactly, that's what humans do, right? Yeah, I love talking about language. That's how we communicate our experiences, and that's how we communicate our cultures, you know, through language. And that's why languages should be protected and saved.
Exactly, and that language was the way that we conveyed knowledge to each other. And it helped us think about the things beyond one person's imagination, right?
Yes. And there's certain things, concepts, ideas, and feelings that exist that other cultures have a word for that we don't have a word for in English, right? So it's important to maintain all these different languages, because one language can't communicate every single experience or every single concept.
So we are back at the parking spot. And where are we going from here now?
We can go to Broadway to look at some historical sites in Saskatoon if you'd like, as long as you're not hungry or...
Yeah. So, okay. What are we planning for the lunch?
So, I wanted to go to one of my favorite, one of my favorite places to sit and eat is actually on Broadway. It's a pub called the Yard and Flagon, and they have a rooftop patio.
Wow.
So you can sit outside and you can have a really nice view of Broadway and Saskatoon. So I was hoping to go there.
Dylan is, a person with huge experience in restaurant industry and business, and
I've worked
she's
in many
familiar.
restaurants. Yes.
So I think, your choice would be the great one.
Awesome. All right. Used to be very
خوب دوستا، این قسمت اول ولاگ من با دیلون بود، اما قصه ما نو شروع شده چون ما تازه وارد شهر میشیم که به خاطر دوری از شراب و نوشیدنی های الکلی ایجاد شد، ولی حالا تبدیل شده به یکی از مراکز مهم تولید شراب در کل امریکای شمالی. در قسمت بعدی ای داستان و قصه های جالب دیگه از این شهر را فراموش نکنین که دنبال کنین و لطفاً به کانال ما هم سابسکرایب.
I love it.